This is Podcast Zero. I'm Jacob Sanchez, reporting live from Get Refreshed. This is going to be called The Real, the Fake, and the Filler in Between. This is great because not only do I have all my coworkers, but I also have Manny, who I grew up with. I have Casper, who became our COO, but before that, he was a football star in our high school football team. And then I have Kat, who actually, but Kat is really special because Kat actually started as she wanted to be a client, and the first time that I met her, I was like, hey, she came in wanting to do her nose, and I was like, I don't think we can
He didn't
help.
recognize me, first of all.
But that's fine.
He didn't recognize me. I'm just kidding. I walked in for my, it was like, first, I didn't even know it was
She
an
came in
interview.
twice.
I came
She
in
came
twice.
in twice. The first time she came in at Dr. Miami's office, and
I was there to meet
she
the team.
wanted you, huh?
I was there to meet the team because you guys were looking for social media.
Well, weren't you coming in as a client?
I first came in as a client for
Exactly.
consultation.
But we said we couldn't help, and then you came back later by accident because I saw your Instagram page, and I was like, I want this girl. This girl has potential. She's genuine. She's herself, and there was something special about you.
Thank you.
And I didn't want to call it an interview because I wanted to see your real self. So
I didn't know it was an interview.
I gave you a tour of Dr. Miami's office.
He's like, I want you to meet the team. I'm like, really? Why? You want me to meet the team?
Yeah, and it's been one of the biggest assets we've ever had because you understand the patient the most. You were a patient, and you were very self-conscious in the beginning about your nose, and it was so funny how like in the last year or so we did your nose. You gained this enormous amount of confidence because of all like the leather that you put in your skin. You shielded yourself for so many years, became so strong, genuine, real, compassionate, relied on the real things that once you got your nose, that little insecurity fixed, it was just like Pandora's box. Now you got to see your true potential. And it's funny because I don't want to tell your story, but I think it's cool because from the outside in, I like it because I love it because I got to see what it takes for that somebody to really develop in their potential. Everybody goes in different rates, but it's funny to see how when we did your nose with filler and threads, how much confidence you gained that when you got it done surgically, you're like, eh. I say it all the time. We know after 3 years where I got to see through the patients that were coming in, they taught me how to be real. Yeah. Ironically, they taught me how to like, man, vulnerability is such a strength that I want to have because if I can come in and tell somebody my insecurities, how comfortable am I in my skin if I can accomplish that? And you know that really came up. It really the people who believed in us allowed us to just grow exponentially because I took on that. I took on that. Like I wanted to be that. Yeah. I was scared of my skin. You know, as a straight male, there's so many things who's Latino, there's so many things that you're supposed to hide. You're not supposed to show your emotions. And I was like, man, that is dope. That's
real men don't cry.
Yeah, but you know what? Real men at the end, yeah, real men cry. Yeah, in front of everybody.
Question: can you talk about the effects of alcohol skin longevity? Not to be a buzzkill.
I mean, kind of thinking of it just on a layman's terms, when you drink, you're essentially dehydrating your system. That's why you wake up hungover because you slept dehydrated.
Very true.
So I think if you drink on a consistent basis, essentially you're dehydrating the skin.
One of the things that I wanted to elaborate on is when you're dehydrated. One of the most underrated modalities in medicine period, whether it's cosmetic, whether it's real medicine in the hospital, is IV hydration. Yeah, it's IV hydration. Every cell, with brain cell, skin cell,
everything needs to be hydrated.
Everything needs.
What do you use? 70% water?
Yeah, you're mostly water. Yeah. There's something to be said about that. Yeah. You know, if you're constantly walking around dehydrated, you're gonna feel old. On top of just dehydrating everything out of your body.
I mean, have you ever woken up hungover and dehydrated? That's terrible. Your mouth
is
so
but,
dry.
I've woken up dehydrated. This is a true story. I woken up dehydrated, hungover, and
that's that MO.
And put an IV in myself as I was going to run a marathon for breast cancer awareness.
No fucking.
Yeah, stop. And I killed it. There's something IV hydration.
What was in that IV? That Gatorade serum.
Lactated Ringers was the first Gatorade that was ever formed.
How far do you want to, once in a certificate, do you need to do IV hydration?
I think you can be a nurse. You can be a.
Oh, to administrate.
I think it's nurse.
You could even
I
you could
mean,
be a paramedic.
mm,
You can be a paramedic because they put IVs in. A nurse.
They take your
and
vitals and
everything-
everything.
But
everything-
under
do a lot.
supervision of a physician when you're a nurse or a paramedic.
Well, unless you're working in the state of Florida, you can practice as an independent contractor, or you can even be an autonomous ARMP, and you can absolutely do it without a physician.
Yeah.
Fluid management is something that we do in anesthesia all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sustains cardiopulmonary status. So we can do that. PAs can do it as well, and then any
It
other.
says paramedics too. EMT.
So IVs aren't considered an injection, even though you are kind of injecting.
It's
into them?
not considered an injection as to like what we're talking about. We're talking about dermal fillers.
Right.
We're talking about something that you're injecting to restore the volume that you've lost from aging. IV hydration, that's more you're hydrating
Yeah,
your
just
entire
through
body.
your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about like why do people get dermal fillers?
Well,
Because they're scared
it
of
was
the
for
needle.
confidence.
Nope. No.
When I did it was for confidence.
I think the better question is why do people not get
Hold
dermal
on, hold on.
fillers?
But
That's a
I
hard
like
question.
that.
Huh?
But she said confidence.
Yes.
I did this when I was 30 years old. I didn't do it for confidence.
Did what? The dermal
Why
fillers?
did you
Yeah.
do it? Why did you do it?
Information,
The first thing I did was
educational?
jaw contract.
They say 100%. Look refreshed.
The reason why I did is because I knew already that if I did this, I would look better. I already felt like I was an attractive man, but I felt like
cock.
no, man.
I'm
It's
just
just
kidding.
it's just loving yourself, bro. It's like you know,
Love
like
yourself
hey,
a lot.
damn. It's like you doing your beard, and when you used to fade
Yeah.
yourself, and when you used to always dress
Yeah,
nice.
still fade myself. I mean, probably doesn't look that good right here in this lighting.
But you used to always like middle school when I first
Yeah,
met
for
you.
sure.
You would always dress fresh to death. Always had the freshest
My MO,
kicks,
baby.
right? So and what did that make you feel?
Confident.
Yeah.
It made
Give
you
me
feel
confidence.
confident, right?
Where I lacked a jaw.
Were you thinking
You
about
made
that
a
in
whole
middle
jaw
school?
for me. Kinda. Dude, George, white boy.
Yeah.
He gave me the worst nickname. He's like, yo, you're triple threat. I was like, oh, why am I triple threat? Something good? It's like, no, man, your nose is huge, your Adam's apple sticks out, and your chin is non-existent. I was like,
triple threat.
oh,
my
you
God.
bastard. I was like,
Damn.
You know you just done
Bird
messed up now.
killed
That's why I'm
me.
gonna call you from now on.
Hey, I don't care. No one has to know why.
Actually, everybody knows.
Oh,
Everyone.
yeah, okay, well,
Everyone.
everyone.
Every 45 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still too
All
bad.
right, so
All right, so there's different.
it wasn't a
reasons-
lack of confidence.
It was exactly.
It was
wasn't-
just to what? Enhance something that you wanted more of, or you felt like you lacked. Like, damn, I always wanted that Superman jaw. I wanted just to
I
chisel
don't,
a
know if
little
he, I
bit
don't
more.
think he lacked it. It wasn't that he lacked it. It was just, I felt like maybe he wanted to do it on himself before he did it on anybody else.
Well, I needed to do that.
Right.
I needed
To
to do it. On
prove
some,
to yourself a little
yeah,
bit.
you're absolutely right.
Did you inject yourself?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you would have had somebody just like,
No,
hey,
man.
put right here, put right here.
I didn't know anybody who was doing jaw contract or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
So you did yourself before you did me.
Yeah.
I feel good about
So
Jacob has a middle school name too.
I do.
Oh,
that. As a
Oh.
what?
exposed.
Manny
Oh.
Manny?
Hey, Applehead, get off here, man. Come on, dog.
Who invited him?
Listen, man, we've been calling you Applehead since middle school, dog. Now you gotta come
That's
shining
it,
on
you
me.
knew?
But wait, but let's talk. All right, let's talk about this nickname, this middle school nickname. Where did that come from?
No, they called me Soil because I was the blackest one. I was always in the sun riding bike. That's the time when you would
They
ride
called
bike
you, wait, what
to
was the
different
nickname?
neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
We
so
were right
I was
there.
always out in the
Yeah.
street, just like I just floated around neighborhoods, man.
That's how we met.
90s.
Yeah.
Good times.
That was the
They
90s.
said
It was a good
Jake
time.
said soil.
So I believe that people do it for multiple reasons. You did it because you had that. Was it somebody that somebody said to you, or you just knew on by yourself that?
Everyone, well, not everyone.
Everyone said
Every
it.
single person.
Little bastard.
In middle school, I was bullied on my nose, and actually the hair on my arms. That's why I would shave my arms, but it's a different story. But I did. I was being
That's
bullied
next
for my nose.
Harry on our
Yeah, I was like, Kara has a big nose, and then I wouldn't let no one talk to me from the side, even when I got to high school. If I had someone sitting next to me in class, I would have to turn my head to talk to you because I wouldn't have a conversation with you just
staring at your
staring
profile.
at my profile. So
I had the same
I
problem.
didn't want you and then I would wear glasses. I would I didn't have good vision, but I still bought glasses so I can cover the hump with my glasses. So when I came to GR since he fixed my nose, everything I was doing was like I was able
Look
to
at my
talk
profile.
and be free and just look at and I just turn and be happy with my profile. And I had it for 2 years, and then I was able to saved it up. Sorry, I saved enough money to pay for my nose job, and I said, fuck it. So when I did my nose job, it was like what he said. I was just like, oh, it's cool, nice, sure. Now it's
Would
permanent.
have had for a while.
So it's exactly what my nose looked like. It's just tinier because they took out the hump, but my nose was straight
Oh my
after
god, I
filling.
need to see a before picture of that.
Yeah, I'll show you. And you guys can see it too. It's on the page. But I had it.
I had it. It was there.
Huge
And
hump. And they were called toucan. I
No
was called
way.
a lot of things.
Yeah, and it's terrible. And this is why this is like one of the only procedures that we do. I get refreshed that it could be a minor. You guys didn't tell me how you feel about that, but knowing how kids now can be bullied even when they're at home.
Yeah, social media.
Social media, there's so much reach to more kids than ever, and also uh, more kids than ever, even while you're at home. And this is like a nose on a 15-year-old kid changes not his life; it changes the entire family's life.
We had a patient, 15-year-old
man.
kid, had to go homeschool.
Had to get homeschooled
Had to
because
get
he was
homeschooled.
getting bullied.
He's getting bullied. A year later, he's on the football team. He's got a
Get-
girlfriend.
He's getting
Really?
recruited
He's
for
got
high school
Yeah.
for football.
Okay.
Has a girlfriend, and the entire family has absolutely changed.
Yeah.
When-
The whole family dynamic. Not
the whole
even
family
him. It's
dynamic.
And that
People
that
don't
is-
understand this.
Yeah.
This is what people in America don't understand. They still see it as
confidence is
vanity,
everything.
but we know that our game plan is not to become a successful med spa. It's to become a disruption to the entire industry because we know that it's not about vanity. Anybody who hung their hat on vanity is about to get sucked up.
Mhm.
If they're not if they're not at the table, they're on the menu.
Yep.
Because that's about to get just pushed to the side because people are seeing how they can incorporate this into their daily lives. Straight males, straight females, gay, anything, bigender, binary, yeah, non-binary. People are recognizing that hey, this is just as important as changing my hair color or getting
getting a
my
haircut.
tooth cleaning, getting my teeth cleaned. I want to maintain and manage the aging process in a way where it's non-invasive, and this is a way of doing that.
Subtle.
We also have another Krista. She's like, Kat, I was the same. I had my issues with my nose. Then went to GR for non-surgical, and then did her surgery 2 years later. And then
So it's almost like a good preview to
Yeah.
see how
Exactly.
exactly you want your nose. Because the
Right.
thing with nose jobs, once you do it, you know,
That's
when you do it,
permanent.
it only gets worse every time. You know,
It's
every time you
only
got to
good,
go
yeah.
back and do it again. So
and
I think
it's reversible. So if you don't like it,
Right? They can
Reverse it off the
dissolve
shirt.
it.
Which
Yeah.
is why I
Dissolve it.
left the
about
anesthesia.
that.
I was doing surgery at all these plastic surgery centers,
Mhm.
and I was like, eventually, this is a numbers game. I'm a numbers guy. If I do this enough, I got in this when I was 30. If I do this till I'm 66, 70 years old, like some of these guys, somebody's gonna pass away on my clock, and I don't like that. There's a certain
It just
eerie
doesn't sit
feeling
right. It
because
just
you come
doesn't sit
in,
right.
yeah, you come in every day and you're thinking like, okay, I'm working at all these. This is a surgery center, so there's shady stuff that goes on. This person, this was probably like somebody who just. I've had this happen where they snorted like an 8 ball the night before. They're coming in, yeah, yeah, totally. Or they're coming in drunk and you can smell the alcohol and they're getting,
Hungover.
yeah, and they're not even. They're still drunk and they're ready to get anesthesia and it's like.
Or maybe like
I
no,
mean,
actually they had a little
It's not
morning
even.
cup.
It's not even under my control at that point.
Right.
Like you are.
But do they
Putting-
disclose that? Like, oh yes, I had a drink.
No.
No.
No, some of
You
them
just,
don't.
yeah, well,
No.
I would assume they would.
None of them don't.
All
Nobody
right,
does.
so let's get into why people don't do it. Let's talk about that stigma out there. You know, the reason why people
I think we should
haven't-
start with you.
Man.
Ah, yeah. See?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna bring up the question, I'm gonna be on Front Street.
That's right.
So I haven't done anything yet, and it hasn't been because, well, I can say before, you know, I had that stigma. Oh, men don't get Botox. Men don't do any of that. That's, you know, you're not a real man if you do that. There was a certain stigma that came with it. Again, probably came from the Hispanic culture, but as I've seen the way that it's changed people's lives, I'm like, huh, okay.
like, yeah,
So you think it's a more
Yes.
Hispanic culture thing that made you not want to do it to begin with?
I don't think it was a Hispanic culture. I think it was just being brought up
They being
in
more-
sports.
just trying to be more masculine.
I think it's a gender thing.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's a guy thing. Like
Yeah.
guys don't, for multiple reasons, they feel like, I think guys are more insecure than women.
Very much so.
I mean,
Considering
just look.
that-
I mean, going back to a haircut.
What
When we used to get a haircut
Yeah.
Yeah,
back in the day,
that was everything.
it was the guys who would criticize the hair more
Yeah.
than more than women.
For
We were thinking,
sure.
oh, we want to get a haircut for the girls to look good, but really we
Yo,
were
is it
thinking,
faded
damn,
though?
if the guys
Is
are
it
about to
faded
rag
though?
on us,
Is there
we
a
had
line?
Come on,
You see a
man.
we had
line?
to tape
Yo,
crook it.
that come on, that blend. Come on, dog. Yo, you push my
man.
tape back. You
I see a
push my
line.
tape
I
back.
see a line. I see a
Oh,
line.
the tape
Yeah.
pushing back. Oh my god, that was like the
You
worst.
would cry.
It's also
Oh,
it's
supercuts.
it's also the
Worst haircuts ever.
I forgot what I
Left
was
crying.
gonna say.
Left crying.
Guys don't like that their girls are doing it too.
Because of insecurity,
Yeah.
though.
Mhm.
More guys,
That's what it is. Yeah.
more guys are insecure to the point that they don't even want their woman doing it, and it's because, and I saw this when I was working at all these like surgery centers in Miami. You would see the uncomfortableness of their guy. They're there, they're supporting their girl, but they're not really. They're like, hey, you don't need this shit. You don't need. You don't do this. Like, and or like they were
But
just
then again-
criticizing them.
You gotta look at it like
Criticizing their girl.
You're not gonna be a boyfriend and be like, yeah, babe, you should definitely get your fucking nose done.
Why not?
I mean, cause it's kind of.
You don't have to say it like that, but
Yeah,
like
sorry, I didn't.
I don't think
it's booze.
I don't think you have to say it like that, but I'd be like, damn, baby,
It's
you know,
not a bad
I
idea.
Well,
support
I
you.
think
Yeah,
I think
no,
this
I
is such a
guess
this is such a novel type of treatment, and it's still in its infancy stage. And I think a lot of it,
Yeah.
you know, when you start thinking, you know, plastic surgery's been around for a while. A lot of celebrities are getting, and then they get botched, and then you know, as they age, they just look worse and worse. What was that one? She was like a celebrity newscaster. She passed away not too long. Joan Rivers.
Mhm.
You know, you just saw her
Oh.
as she aged. She just looked worse
Yeah.
and worse and worse. And I think dermal fillers
change,
and
man.
aesthetics kind of got grouped into that category. And I think slowly that's starting to change. And I don't think slowly. I think quickly it's really changing. And
People want that more subtle look.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
because you only notice bad work.
that's
You're not
true,
gonna
you don't
notice good
it.
work.
Mhm.
It's not like a tattoo. It's not
Well,
like
it kind of is.
no. What in what sense? What?
In the sense that you will notice a bad tattoo more than you'll notice a good
No,
one.
no, no. But you'll notice good tattoos and you'll
Yeah.
notice bad tattoos. You
But
won't
which one's
notice.
gonna stick to your head a little bit more?
It doesn't matter.
You don't think?
Both of them. If they're
Yeah,
if they're really good or they're really bad.
Yes.
But-
there you go.
But when it comes to dermal fillers, people are not gonna notice good work. They're gonna notice only bad work, and that's what they because
Yeah.
if
I
it's
get
if
that.
you did your job right, you shouldn't notice that somebody has something
I'm
done.
not gonna lie. Like I'll watch the news now, and I'm like, it looks like she's overfilled her lips or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we saying
It's crazy
that?
how quick you pick up that eye, that aesthetic
Yo,
eye, where
yeah.
you're like, oh, I see a little imbalance
But
in
I-
you.
I-
you
I
know?
don't think-
I don't think. Okay, so you're my boy. You know, we're gonna get in. This is about getting as real as we can because if you're thinking like this, probably a whole bunch of people are thinking like this. You didn't allow your girl to get anything done. I don't think it was because you were insecure that she may leave you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
This is a woman that is like a super G. She stuck by you through hell,
Literally.
literally. So it wasn't. It wasn't that you were insecure. What was really the reason behind it?
I think it was for the reason I just said. I think it was because, you know, I always felt like it's a slippery slope. Once you start, you can't stop. And it's only going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. So
But what's going to get worse? Their need to
They're
have
gonna
it done.
more
keep doing
filler.
it,
Well,
maybe.
because it's the old way of doing it. You know,
Like it would just. Get
we're really embracing this new modern way of injecting where it's really subtle, where we're trying to give them the natural look. That's not the way that it's always been done. You know,
Yeah.
not too long ago, the way it was just add more filler, add more filler. You know, we're the ones kind of changing the game. We're the ones that are introducing these multinodal approaches where we're using threads, we're using neurotoxins, we're using dermal fillers. That's not the way it's always been. It's always been, oh, we need more, put more
Just
filler,
put more
put more
filler.
filler, and then they'll get this like blow up fish. So
Yeah.
that was my perspective of it always. You know,
I think that's the purpose of this podcast. I mean, that's the whole purpose of Get Refreshed is to show like, hey, that wave of that theory of injecting is completely falling by the wayside.
Which it should be.
And this is where it's creating such an uproar between core and non-core. Because some of these core
what is core non-core?
Okay, core are like dermatologists and plastic surgeons. Non-core, your nurse practitioners, your PAs, anybody else who's doing it, right? The core has been doing it for the longest. Problem is, they've been doing it the same way for the longest. And now these non-core are coming in and they're injecting a lot more than some of these cores. And you're seeing the skill of someone getting 10,000 hours and becoming a sharpshooter and just looking at things differently, having a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Now, it's not to take away from cores. There's a lot of good injectors out there. But I really feel like people are starting to notice that the ones that were like, hey, they were front name, when it comes to dermal fillers or any type of non-invasive procedures, people are starting to recognize, like, now that that wave is crusting over, they're starting to see that, oh, there's a new way of doing it. You've seen these so many talented injectors beyond the ones that are from Get Refresh. They're core and non-core, but they're injecting a different way, and it's to destigmatize the use of all these these injectable procedures.
Yeah.
So I think this is only the beginning.
Innovation.
What do you feel is the next step? Where does this industry go from here?
Oh, I mean, the reason why I left anesthesia is because everything in medicine is becoming more non-invasive. And whenever we go through a war, that's when the new advancements in medicine occur, because there's a need.
Yep.
Same like World War II, plastic surgery came about. People were getting blown up. And now you see that, hey, now in an era where there's technology and there's more science readily available, we're seeing that, okay, it's not even about getting it done. It's about getting it done in a more non-invasive way where we don't harm somebody, where we can get ourselves out of a corner. Like surgery is great. It has its pros, but it also has its cons. The same way dermal fillers do. They have their pros and they have their cons. Does it last long? Maybe not. I wish it lasted longer. I wish we had a 5-year filler. I wish we had a 10-year filler that we can easily reverse within 4 hours. We have a 2-year filler that we can reverse within hours. But I mean, that is one of the pros, is that we can reverse it. Now, it doesn't last as long, but people don't want to go under the knife. People don't want to sustain that downtime that occurs when you get a surgical nose job. Yep. You're going to be bandaged up. You're going to have bruising, pain. You're going to have pain, and you're going to look a little awkward until it heals. Yeah. You just got banged up. Or BBL. BBL, you're going to be walking around weird for the next,
or not sitting down
for the next month. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
what is it? 8 weeks? 12
yeah,
weeks?
like some of our girls, and that's cool. And that's cool. But there's some people who do not want to go underneath the knife. And it may be because our girls are younger, so that they don't mind. They're like, hey, I Get Refreshed, I can take a month off because, we're cool like that. But in other places, you may not be able to. It's all about the puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
They're young, but you may have somebody who's older who's like, yeah, I don't want to go under the knife, but I do want to look good. I want to look sexy in a bathing suit at 50. Because if you look at 50-year-olds now that are coming into our office, sometimes they're slapping on some of these 30-year-olds. Yep. It's just because they're maintaining themselves. And now their men are looking, their men are looking at it like, damn, baby, I want to look good with you.
And I think
that's the same way I would take it.
I feel like the fastest growing demographic in this aesthetic industry is straight men. And I think it is for the reason you just said. They're trying to keep up. If their women are looking younger and younger, the men want to look just like them.
I think it's also, I absolutely agree. Because that would be the same approach that I would take. I want to look good with my woman when we're 60, 70, 80. Like, I want to take advantage of this life and just squeeze every single drop, if it were a lime or a lemon, whatever you want to call it. But I think also we have advancements in medicine, and people are becoming more cognizant as to how to manage their life. They're like, hey, I can look good. I can get a neurotoxin and take away some of these lines. Damn, I can get testosterone. Damn, I'm getting hard the same way I was getting hard when I was 15 years old. And I'm 50 years old. Yeah. And that's...
I was literally about to ask what are the benefits of testosterone, and literally you just said the best thing.
Yeah.
No, I can get how hard
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is probably one of the men's worst fears growing old. Is,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
Not even just
Yeah.
like even when you drink too much.
how much do
whiskey.
you feel like the social media has grown this business? You know, with all these filters, all these images. You know, the way that social media views beauty. You know, they've kind of created the new way of beauty, which is these filters that make people look like not themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really feel that's kind of pushed the envelope or kind of propelled this industry exponentially.
I have a quick couple of shout outs. Johnny on the go says the liquid experience is better. 100% coming back to y'all. Annabelle Castro says all natural beauty is back in style. Paparazzi Wanta said, what about a large nose? Manny Miami says, love you guys, keep winning. And then Pee Weezy says, hey, he's speaking facts. Oh,
Facts,
Life with
baby.
Seba says, love you, Jacob. So happy with my results. I want to last it forever.
Let's go into that question. What about a large nose? Because what I've noticed too is, and this is something I've learned really quick. A lot of people is insecure. They're like, oh, I want to fix my nose, and I've seen you do it time and time again. Where you're like, okay, I understand your nose is what you're self-conscious about, but really it's the proportion to another aspect of your face that is throwing off your nose.
Yeah.
So instead of really focusing on, we can touch the nose up a little bit, but instead of focusing on the nose, let's enhance another area to get that symmetry that you want.
Yeah, that goes back to how we're looking at the face.
Yeah.
Well, before they were just looking at, okay, you're coming in with your concern. Your concern is this line here. All right, I'm gonna inject it until that line is gone. And we're now saying, okay, you know what? Let's use a different approach. Let's think about the reason why you have that line. Maybe it's because of the fat pad that's on top of that line is now atrophying, and now that skin was once supported coming out here, now it has nowhere to go but down here, and it's folding over. And we've gone so far that we're not even thinking like that anymore. We're thinking like, well, yeah, we're thinking
Picasso, baby.
Picasso.
we're thinking, okay, not even a year ago, we were thinking in America, we were thinking, okay, so you don't inject here, you look up here at the cheek as to the reason why they have that, and we would just inject dermal fillers. But now, this thread game is now it's a multimodal approach to somebody's look. They're like, well, yeah, we solved the solution to the fat, but we also know that when you get old, the skin starts losing its recoil, its elasticity. What are we doing for that? What are you just going to keep on injecting a bag that keeps on getting bigger until you get it taut? And that's what we're using. That's when we're using threads. In 2 years, threads are going to take up 30% of the market. I guarantee you.
You heard it first.
I guarantee you. 30.
Thirds are a new thing.
Threads are becoming more accepted in America, and people are now learning how to use them.
Thanks to AVI. Just a little shout out there.
And and while AVI is really is that one, threads are a little bit different than dermal fillers. You can teach somebody like the intro to dermal filler, and you can teach them the advanced. Threads, usually people who start threads are very experienced injectors. They're people who have been doing it for 15 years. So these people are confident. They know the face. There's no introductory.
You're not introducing.
You don't do introductory threads, because when you start using threads, it's already advanced. We've bridged that gap. And it's because we haven't been doing it for 14 years. We've been doing it for 4 years, and it's because at AVI, like there was a quote by Einstein: "If you think I can see further than most men, I don't want AVI to take all the credit. If you think I can see further than most men, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants, and it's because of those people who have been in the industry for 14 years that have opened their doors to me. Busso, Shino Bay, Larry Blevins, Audrey Rose, all those people who Picasso said, good artists borrow, great artists steal. And this is not something that I'm naturally born with talent. Well, maybe it's because I've been doing it, 15 years where I was cutting hair, and I can see that I can have dexterity, and I can see things before, and then blending it with medicine, with anesthesia. But man, these people who have come into my life, I feel like I'm in a movie of like Slumdog Millionaire, and it's because of them.
So threads are not painful because because we actually have our two of our injectors have anesthesia background.
Yes.
And we have multiple modalities to numb. So we have numbing cream. We have a block, a dental block
Regional.
that we do.
So a lot of people don't know what a block is. A block is
Please
regional
explain.
anesthesia. We block the nerves that innervate the area that we're going to be working on. So we put them to sleep. We put that nerve to sleep so you don't feel anything. No sensory input going to the brain, which was not always the case. If you got threads like a year ago at Get Refresh, it probably hurt.
It probably did.
But now, because because we're using so many threads, we perfected it.
Question: did you use block when you did my chin? And my whole
No, I
thing?
didn't.
Yeah, okay.
Because-
I didn't think you did.
You
That felt
should have told him. Yes, we did.
like lies.
We did. Yeah, Pee Weezy, she said, did threads today. Jacob always numbs me up, and I didn't feel a thing. Afterwards, it was painful. If you're not taking pain meds,
Well, that's the key. We always tell people, take the Tylenol. Even if you don't feel the pain, take it, because you're going to stop it from getting to that point of pain.
Yeah.
Don't wait till you're already
Preventative.
pain and in agony by the time you take Tylenol. Take it before then. Manage it. And, if they listen to that, they'll see that experience be a lot better.
I think pain is like, there's an article out there that really like addresses the 3 reasons why people don't get dermal fillers or threads or anything else. And one of them is pain. 2 is the cost. 3 is bruising. So we really made a conscious effort about, okay, how do you minimize pain? Well, we have an anesthesia background. Actually, we have 2 anesthesia providers. You got Jesse Cabrera, you got myself, and you can block. We're taught to block any part of the body. We can block your finger from receiving pain. We could chop your finger off and you won't even know.
You just did the hands today.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. And that woman was like, wow, I went to a dermatologist and they poked me my hand like 1,000 times. This is painless. I wish I can show the video on it. She was anticipating. Yeah, that's your job.
Yeah.
You're
Wait,
supposed,
no, I was like,
you're
I have
supposed,
pictures.
you're
Is there
supposed to
video?
be showing
Little
that
stab,
shit.
little jab.
I was like, there's video. I mean, pictures.
Yeah, so we've become really skilled at just like, that's one of the things that we don't want anybody to feel pain. If they're gonna incorporate that and we're about to destigmatize the use of this, we need to find a way where it's not painful.
I mean, and then we have someone here that says, I know I'm an aesthetic assistant, but after the procedure, it hurts. So yes, after you do threads, numbing always wears off. So you are gonna feel, I don't think it's pain. It's more of like a discomfort. You are gonna feel the threads there because it is the numbing wore off, and we just put threads in your face. So you're gonna feel sensitivity. You're gonna feel like tenderness. So those are some aftermath that you would feel after getting threads. But
it's not bad. I had threads myself. It's not bad.
Did you get thirst?
I got threads.
Yeah,
For my cheeks, just to pull back the skin. And also like a lot of people don't know, like threads have multiple benefits that go beyond the lifting power of the thread. These threads produce collagen. They also produce hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid fillers don't produce hyaluronic acid.
Oh.
So, and that's something that
So there's a regenerative aspect.
Absolutely. It's also going to increase blood flow to the area. So,
Which is good also.
yeah, absolutely. Blood flow. If there's blood flow, there's oxygen.
More oxygen, more healing,
Okay.
regeneration.
Yeah. So this is something that we want to teach other people how to do because we feel like, okay, when I talk to these corporations, I talk to Galderma, Allergan, MERS. They all know that the industry is growing. I don't think they understand how fast it's about to grow. From what we're seeing, we're the people on the ground. We're seeing people in their 20s, 30s, 40s getting this stuff done, where a lot of other med spas are not. If they push 3 or 4, if they push 7 syringes, 8 syringes a day, that's a successful med spa. We're pushing over 30 to 40 syringes a day. That's not including threads. That's not including neurotoxin. And we're seeing all demographics come in. There's a lot more people because of Instagram, because of social media. They do want to look like their filters, and we can make them look like their filters.
The GR filter.
Oh, we need our own. No, we shouldn't have a filter.
No, we have.
Our
Our filter would
we-
be like, as
we
soon as they
create
walk
the
in
filter.
and they leave out.
Most like all right, most influencers who come in, I tell them, I'm like, let's cut to the chase. Show me a filtered
That you
picture.
wanna like?
Yeah, because
Smart.
and I'll tell you whether or not we can get there. If not, I'll tell you straight up. But those are expectations that I don't think we're going to be able to meet. But at least they're going to be a happy customer. That the fact that we didn't take their money
And lie to them.
and lie to them.
Right.
And
So
that's
which
something
is-
that we actually
Very much so.
we do it all the time. We
Pride
turn
yourself on
away, we turn away patients a lot because they want these unrealistic results. And there's people that come here that may have been overfilled and they want more, and we don't treat them because we don't want them going around saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
Jake, I went to get refreshed,"
I know.
and
yeah.
you know it's a bad look. And we tell people, and there's people that just want a little bit more, and Jacob's like, "You look great. I'm not gonna put in more filler." Joe's just like, "You don't need it." Jesse's like, "No, I'm not gonna do that to you." Like,
But
we're
nevertheless, I know we're straight up. We're like, this is not people. People get so. I've been in this for 4 years, and understanding business has been the most enlightening thing ever. Like it doesn't take a brainiac to know business. People don't want to be lied to. It's hard to develop a reputation. Once you develop it, you got to work twice as hard to keep it. If you start doing that, like you're pushing syringes that you don't need, you're gonna ruin your reputation because you're tripping over a dime to pick up a nickel. Like all you gotta just give yourself time.
Yeah, you got to play that long game.
Give yourself time to build that reputation, and then you can build that empire.
I think that's one thing we've always focused on is the trust. There's a trust between the injector and the client.
That's
I
very
love
necessary.
that you say
trust is
that.
very
Because
necessary.
and I think that's where this Picasso really came from. It's giving you all the trust. Hey, I'm gonna come to you, do what you do best. I want to, I'm gonna trust you. I'm not even gonna suggest what I want. Just go ahead at it. And I think once you can develop that,
You just do everything.
yeah,
Just do it.
and it allows it because a lot of times that fear is what holds a lot of people back. They're like, I want to do it, but I'm scared. What if there's what? Come in here and I'm trusting you.
All right, Kat, what was like our first mission statement? I didn't know how important a mission statement was until Robert came into the picture. But what do I always say? Like when we started, what do we want to be?
The most well-trusted brand when it comes to beauty.
Exactly. That's what it stems from. That's why we've developed that reputation.
I was so close. I thought I was doing wrong.
No, it really is. That's what it is. It boils down to relationships. That's what business is all about.
The hardest thing to build back up is trust.
Yep.
So once you lose someone's trust,
Yeah.
it's pretty much done.
All right, guys. So if you guys have any questions, if there's another topic that you guys want us to scratch the surface, the next one that we're going to be talking about is more for injectors. I want to talk about, hey, a lot of people are, man, it's so crazy how much hate. I've reverse engineered $1 million. We were able to do that in 10 months, working 3 days out of the week. And I never saw so much hate coming out of something that was so great, was to change other people's lives.
You're not counting.
My motto: the more haters you got, the better you're doing.
Uh-huh.
So keep them haters coming.
Hater just mean you're doing it right. Simple.
Right.
And one thing, you're never gonna see a hater above you. All the haters are always under you. So the more haters you got, that means the more people you're above.
We have someone who's interested in the course. I'm interested in the fillers class coming up in January. What areas will be taught?
We're going to go from 0 to 100. And that's going to consist of what was once done in 3 days. We're stretching it out over 8 days. There's so much content. And one of the things that you can teach somebody, like you can give them all the didactic material that they need. It can be a 500-page book, but if you don't give them the hands-on, they're not going to feel confident.
Yep.
So when you come in, we wanted to give you the most hands-on that you're ever going to get. So we put all that stuff online so you can learn at your own pace. So that 3-day turned to 8 days, so we can stretch it out and put a lot of it on our platform, where you can self-pace it. You can watch it from your phone, you can watch it from your tablet, computer, or whatever. When you come in, that's where the rubber meets the road. We're gonna have more models than you could ever imagine. We're gonna have cadavers. I'm gonna be injecting alive. Not only me. I'm gonna be injecting. JoJo's gonna be injecting. Jesse's gonna be injecting. While people are going to be working on the cadaver, replicating what we're doing, and they get to do their own experiments.
They can dissect it.
They can let them do what if they've been. Most of these people already inject. Let them do their own experiments. Anything that they had. I mean, I wanted to know like how deep do I get with the needle before I hit the skull? Because if I get it under that periosteum,
Well, how deep? How deep is it?
4 millimeters, 4 to 6 millimeters.
Well, no, 3
The-
that means I can't hit the skull.
well, it depends.
I can
It depends, and this is the beauty is that you're gonna have multiple cadavers. You're gonna see different ages in the cadaver, so you're gonna see the changes that when we've had a cadaver that was like 20 years old, and then you see a
okay.
cadaver that's 80 years old,
Question
and you
on
can
that one.
see the difference in
The amount of
how
fat.
and the amount of fat in their forehead.
That's what it is. That's what they lose.
And most-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Starts to-
and there's a study that's out there where it shows no matter how long you've been doing this, you do not know the depth that you're in. No matter what, if you're a dermatologist, plastic surgeon, CRNA, ARMP, PA, RN, you do not know what level of the skin you're at. But damn, it must be awesome to have a reference. If you can work on a 22-year-old and an 80-year-old and be able to dissect it and be able to and look at the fluid that we put dye in, so you can see where that spread was. Let them work. Let them do their own experiments. So we leave a portion of that so that you can just self-teach yourself. All those things that have ever pondered, because if you're in medicine, you love experimentation.
And I think
Who
that was
doesn't,
one of the
right?
biggest
For real.
things we saw
That's
last course was when we finally converted to that online live format. We saw how comfortable our injectors were injecting the live models because they've already spent 4 to 5
Oh,
hours
we
on
we
cadavers.
we had
They
a
broke the skin.
I know.
They dissected. So
I
by
have
the
a
time they got to
question.
live models,
Yeah.
they were so ready.
Like, I'm
And
ready.
it was the most confident I've ever seen any of our delegates.
Oh yeah.
How many cadavers do you work with when you do the classes?
We have about seven to eight.
And are they constantly injecting? Like, does one person inject and then someone else inject on that same
Well, the
cadaver?
Well, I don't think it's the amount of cadavers. I think more important is the ratio.
Yeah.
So we want to keep
okay.
we want to
Compared
keep
to how
a
many-
2 to 3, max 4 to 1 ratio.
But that's my question. Like, are you guys putting filler on the same? Like, are you guys sharing heads on different students? Like, is one student gonna inject and then someone
It
else is gonna do
depends.
maybe a different part?
Yeah.
Or
It depends. Like right now is the best time to do it because the first quarter of the year, most people are just like
They got over the holidays.
they got over the holidays and they
We
have
got-
you have
we
the
got
smallest
COVID.
ratios.
Yeah.
So like in our thread course, it's going to be a 1-to-1. It's looking like everybody's going to have their own head. All right, guys. If you guys have any questions on
DM us.
yeah, just DM us. We love talking. We love talking shop talk. It's 10 o'clock at night, and this is normally what happens at Get Refreshed. We normally stay till 10 o'clock, sometimes even longer, and it's about pushing the envelope in this industry and becoming a disruption while serving you. We want to be always big enough to serve, but small enough to care. So, peace and love.
Love y'all. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Stay fresh.